So here's a machine not too often mentioned in the collector community, a Metropolitan canister. I'm thinking this is a little bit on the older side, because it seems like the newer ones have swivel casters on the front, as to where this just has two stationary wheels. Not very maneuverable, but I suppose that's why they changed it. And this one is a 2-speed. It's kind of an unusual way to do it, but it works, I guess. And then it says 6-stage HEPA filtration on it. Let's explore exactly what this the 6 stages are. So, just like some older canisters, like the Royal Power Tank, we have a bag-and-bag system. So here's our first 3 layers of filtration, the 3-ply paper bag. And then we have a cloth bag that seems very similar to like denim. And then inside here we have a foam filter. And then behind the foam filter, we have a HEPA filter. Kind of a weird HEPA filter. It has a slight cone shape to it. But yeah, this is a very simple machine. It's more or less a tube, a switch, a motor. You know, not that there's anything wrong with that. Now, I may be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure I've seen this hose sold as a replacement rainbow hose on Esco, so I'm going to pull up an image of that so you guys can see it. As far as I can tell, the only thing they changed on this was the end. It's kind of funny, really. This machine seems like it's a bunch of miscellaneous parts just thrown together. You know, they kind of focused on getting their main unit set up, and then the rest of it, they're just kind of taking random pieces and tossing it together. And then as for the power nozzle, we have one of these, I think they're called like PB-11s from Dust Care. Oh, yeah. There's the... And it's kind of like a Eureka Vibra Groomer 3, because it has 2 rows of brushes with kind of a little plastic ridge behind here to stiffen them. And then unlike the Vibra Groomer 3, this does have a geared or cog belt in it, whatever you prefer to call it. So it's like, I've always wanted to try one of these just to see if it stacks up to the Vibra Groomer 3, but it seems to me like it doesn't seal quite as well, so I'm guessing there must be more leakage in the nozzle itself. Well, I guess I did this out of order. So I've got the inlet here was a little too narrow for me to do much with, so I couldn't even insert this into here, and that's a 1 1/4 tool adapter for an Oric Buster B, so I just had to rig something up to work. I mean, it's definitely not pretty, but it should at least allow us to get the job done. So we're going to start it off in low power, and we'll take its airflow reading, and then we'll switch over to high. Now for high. Now we'll do the voltage and wattage. Start off on low. Now for some suction testing. Once again, low, then high. And I can tell we do have leakage like right around the power nozzle port, and I don't think we're completely sealed. Well, we might be. And a fun little trick I've learned with this, not that it's a good indicator of its power, but it can lift itself. There we go. It's really more of a trick than anything, but I still think it's kind of neat. Because, I mean, it's really more about the balance of the machine. You know, since it's not pulling in one direction or the other. Alright, so now we got the hose attached. We'll start off on low and then move to high as per usual. Alright, and now we'll take some hose suction readings. Okay. Alright, and with the wand attached, starting off on low. Now for wand suction, starting on low. Down maybe 2. Alright, so we got the power nozzle set up on here, so starting off on low again. That's not too bad. We'll grab the suction gauge. It can almost hold it, but not quite. So I think I'm just going to take the power nozzle measurements on high speed. Because I mean, who cleans carpets on low speed? All right, it's on high. We'll try to take a suction reading. Just barely holding it. A lot of leakage. A lot of leakage. bit of a drop. Okay, so we'll do my usual oat test, and I'm just going to run this on high speed. You know, I forgot to mention, I know someone once mentioned on this that they didn't like the exhaust. I'm not fond of it either. And I think there's really no sort of baffling in there. So it comes off a little bit loud. And I feel like if they had maybe added a few more holes in there, perhaps it wouldn't be quite as loud because the airstream coming out might not have been as forceful. Or maybe they should have implemented a wider design on it, you know, having a wider cuff for the hose, or perhaps even a shutter, kind of like the old Airways used to have, a little twin hinge door. But that's just my 2 cents on it. I mean, it's an interesting machine for sure, especially something produced in the modern day. It definitely doesn't look it. But I don't think it quite met my expectations. I figured with such a simple and straightforward design, it was going to be massively powerful. Now, that's not to say it's a bad machine, but I just had much higher hopes for it, I think. And I feel like, in theory, this design should work, and it should work very well. But just something here doesn't work quite right.